Hey everyone, it's Karen at Worldschooling Central. Do you dream of world schooling, but you've got a full-time job and no idea how to combine the two? Welcome to Worldschooling Spotlight, where I interview worldschooling families and share their real-life worldschooling experiences with you. Today I'm going to introduce you to a family who have managed to combine a full-time working life with worldschooling their son. Watch this to find out more. Meet the Wong family, otherwise known as Globetrotter Kin. Kelvin, Kimberly and son Karson are a part-time worldschooling family who balance a traditional life of living and working while still travelling whenever possible. Ever since Kelvin and Kimberly first got together, they have always focused on travelling the world and creating memorable experiences together. When Karson came along, they were excited to share the world with him and create new memories together as a family. Based in Hong Kong, the family find it easy to get caught up in the fast-paced dynamics of the city. Travelling allows them to release the stress while exploring and learning about the history, heritage and culture of the countries they visit. Kelvin and Kimberly love watching Karson learn through his experiences. They believe the worldschooling way of life is a wonderful way to encourage children to follow their passions and be truly engaged in their learning. Today I asked them how they manage a part-time worldschooling lifestyle, so if this sounds like something you'd like to find out more about, join me as we speak with Kelvin and Kimberly.
Hi, I'm Kimberly.
Hi, I'm Kelvin.
And nice to meet you. We have a 6-year-old son. His name is Karson. We're the Globetrotter Kin. And basically, we are part-time travelers.
How does your family world school?
We try to travel like once a month.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And generally, we go to everywhere. Like we've been to Europe. We were brought up. Well, I was brought up in North America, and now we are residing in Hong Kong at the moment. But nonetheless, because of how flights are here, it's really easy for us to travel everywhere in the world. So basically, we've been to Europe, North America,
I think
most parts of Asia.
4 continents at the moment,
Yes.
and we're hoping to expand it to all of them
Yes.
gradually, bit by bit.
Can you tell us what is world schooling?
So world schooling to us, it's kind of like through travel experience, children get to learn firsthand of the knowledge and the insights that they gain through the process. They will be able to apply it through the process of actually their travels. And at the same time, because of the process of exposure that they gain in traveling, they're able to actually expand their horizon and be able to learn about different cultures, different heritage. And at the same time, of course, in the end, we want them to be able to actually put it into use in real life.
Why did your family start world schooling?
There's a Chinese proverb. Basically, it means that instead of reading thousands of scrolls of books, you might as well travel thousands of miles. And I think that's what we're trying to do with our son. We want to experience firsthand with him everything that we've seen, everything that we experience together and learn together, rather than reading him in text.
So tell me, when did you guys start world schooling?
The first travel experience that my son had was when he was a year and 3 months old. We brought him back to Vancouver. That's where I was brought up. And then afterwards, we traveled down to Seattle with him. So it was, I guess it started then. But in the early beginning stage, we traveled every 3 months. And then slowly it evolved to monthly travel. So basically last year, we were very lucky. We managed to travel every single month of the year. So basically, we went to a different country every single month. We went to Singapore twice last year.
Yeah, we liked it so much.
We liked it so much.
So
we went back. But other than that, we managed to actually travel every single month. So at this moment, we're trying to do this, but however, with the current condition, it doesn't allow us to.
But I think what really sparked our interest in traveling together as family, with this this regularly, is when during our Seattle trip with our son, back then he was only like a year old, and he didn't speak much. His first words were mama, papa, and his third word was airplane, and that was from the Museum of Flight in Seattle. So we were really touched back then because he was learning through his first-hand experience, and he was so excited for it. and we wanted that to extend on and on. So we brought him to see new things every time, like whales and everything, so on.
Yeah, it was very impactful, I must say. Like every single experience he gained through traveling, he has been learning a lot. And the stuff that he received, it's not just what we read off of books. He actually gets to actually understand the process and also experience it firsthand. It makes it more memorable for him. And at the same time, through the process, we're building memories as well, which is very important.
And he loves to share that with his teachers and his classmates at school.
Yes, we were actually we were very into traveling as a couple already. So to be honest, back I think when we first started dating, the first year of our dating, I think we traveled already like 3-4 times at that time, which was actually I guess we were still young back then, so it was quite a bit already.
Traveling was essentially how we started.
Yes, actually we started dating when we first went to Taiwan. So that was our first trip, and that's when we started dating too.
Yes.
So it was very funny. It was our grad trip together.
Yes, and I guess we just thought that with Karson, our son, coming along,
yes,
we just couldn't let him miss out on all these wonderful things that we've seen in the world. So we just gradually made it back to every location that we've been to. And
did some stuff that we didn't do as a couple, because after all, there are a lot to learn. Like for example, some museums that we wanted to visit back then, we thought that it would be great if we have a child, we can bring him back there. And then we did a lot of things like theme parks, and also of course like there are some hands-on experience where he actually gets to visit temples, local culture, even street markets. We exposed him to quite a bit, and it just came along because we realized that he became more inquisitive. And it helps with the holistic learning. We wanted him to be a more holistic person on the whole, so it's very important for him to be exposed to what we were exposed as, like when we were adults, I would say, like because when we first started to travel very frequently, we were already graduates, so we graduated from university, and then that's when we started traveling. So we wanted him to be exposed to it earlier than us. So
the one thing I realized which amazed me was that each place, we thought that we were amazed the first time around, but every time we re-experienced an old place with our son, it just gets exponentially better.
How did you first discover the concept of world schooling?
In the past, I was also an educator. So I was I think at very early stage, it was through some articles and magazines related to education that we learned about world schooling, and a bit is through the IB curriculum as well. So basically, they will have experience week where children are actually allowed to go abroad to actually experience through travel. They get to stay in the local hostel, and they get to interact with local students. It's kind of in a way like an exchange program, but at the same time, they get to actually help build houses. Some of them do different things, basically. And through the process, they're not only learning about the local culture experience, but they're expanding their personality as well. They get to know themselves better. And at the same time, of course, it is a self-enhancement process as well. So that's when I first started to be exposed to world schooling.
How do your kids learn through world schooling?
There are a number of things we prep him with. Okay, so first of all, of course, we rely highly on YouTube because there's a lot of vloggers out there. And then before we plan our trip, or even when we start planning our trip, generally we would ask him if he wants to go to this place, and then through watching travel videos such as like from National Geographic to vloggers like Karson has a idol. He's got an idol from his channel is called Lost LeBlanc. So basically he's Canadian as well, like me. So his name is Christian LeBlanc. So he's really into his videos. Yes. So basically he gets exposed to different types of videos of the place, and he gets to know what kind of experience he would be experiencing, what he wants to do. He gets a say in it in the process, and at the same time he gets to know what is going to happen. And then after watching these videos, generally we would actually pick up themed books related to the experience. So for example, if we're going to a tropical island, we would decide on, we'll choose marine life related books. And then books like under the publisher of Osborne, or like there's a few different publishers that we really like that we would opt for. And then he would actually read those books. And we'll go through them, and even some stories, some fictional stories related to the theme, we would choose and read with him before bedtime. And then afterwards, he would know more about what he's going to experience, what he's going to see. And then at that stage, he would be somewhat prepared already.
I'm happy to say that by now my son is more educated than I am sometimes. Destinations I've never been to. Come back to me saying that, Daddy, did you know that they have this and that in Paris, and that you could do this for and he'd tell me that, Daddy, I really want to go to the desert. I've never been there. I want to ride a camel. I saw Christian LeBlanc do it, so I want to do it too. And sometimes when I go out with him, he would ask me to pick up my phone and take a vlog of it. He wants to speak about something that he saw along the road. So really, I'm really amazed by the inquisitive mindset that he's had as a result of his travels, and he's really interested in travel, per se.
His school also used the IB system, IB early years. He's in a private school at this moment. So the way they educate him is also through the IB. Basically, IB has a way of learning system. So they have different personality traits that they train on, which is also training them to be all-rounders, holistic people, and they expect that they would be inquisitive as well, which is very good. So they train by theme as well, more or less similar to how we do it at home. So basically, I guess we go parallel with what the school's doing. But what the school is enforcing is more on the knowledge part. Like, for example, like I would say on phonics, on like how to read, like skill sets he would pick up. But at the same time, for him to expand his vocabulary, for him to be able to structure sentences better, for him to be able to have more topics to talk about, that's where we develop through our side.
And what qualities do you think your children have developed because of world schooling?
With traveling, because of his exposure, not only is he able to talk about what is on the books, but also what he has experienced himself firsthand, he's able to do sharing, which is very impactful because not only is he learning himself, but he's also sharing with his peers, which through the process, he's able to educate others as well. So recently he had parent-teacher conference with Night, and I was able to talk to his English teacher, and then his English teacher was telling us how he was just talking about the Tower Bridge, and then there's another bridge, and then there's like all these different bridges in the world, and his classmates were all very interested in it, which was very good because after all, we want him to be able to share. And our son was very timid and shy. Like he was born timid and shy. Like when he was, I remember up until he was 4 years old, he was still a very timid person. He doesn't speak much. He's very quiet. And but traveling changed him. Like especially the past year we traveled every single month, and he got to exposed to different experiences, and from meeting people from different cultures to actually experiencing knowing about different animals to actually going snorkeling with us. He did quite a bit of things, like no matter is it active, passive, and through the process he got to experience a lot, and it opened up him. He was able to actually talk a lot more, and he's more willing to approach strangers, and he was more willing to actually share with others, which is very important, I think.
I'm happy to say that traveling in school have been a good fit, because my wife just said Karson used to be very timid and very shy, and basically frequent traveling in particular has really transformed him and made him into really interpersonal. His interpersonal skills have improved tenfold. He's willing to share. He's willing to talk about things now to different people and teach them things that he's learned along the road. So really, we're really appreciative of all the benefits that traveling has brought to him back to school. He's become a much more popular person now.
And he found a passion too. I must say,
Yes.
he found his passion during his travels.
Once you made the decision to start world schooling, what happened next?
First of all, I think the flight. Basically, when we first brought him onto flight, it was actually it was a 14-hour flight. So it was a very, like, we started off with long haul, which was actually, I think, to a lot of people, they thought we were crazy because being first-time Harris, number one. Number two is the fact that our child has never traveled. So it was his first travel experience. And yet we tried to bring him to North America from Hong Kong, which is actually quite a bit of a distance. So a lot of people were like, oh, are you sure you want to do that? But then when we actually prepared ourselves, there are a number of things that we did to ensure that we are well prepared. We were afraid that he would wake up during the whole entire flight, not sleep. So we chose a red-eye flight. So basically, we chose to fly out at night. So that's when he actually sleeps. So a lot of people told us that we should go and get medication from the doctor, maybe flu medicine or something, just so that we can put him to sleep. Something that would put him to sleep. We were like, okay, no, I don't want to feed my son something medicine when he's not sick. It doesn't make sense to me. So anyways, so we booked a red-eye flight, which was actually the right way to do it. We found out that it was much easier because he was already sleeping by the time we walked into the gates. Yes. I think that we were pushing a stroller.
Yes, that's the other travel hack.
Yes, a stroller is very important.
Sometimes for shopping.
Yes, very important. So basically, we brought the stroller, and then so he was on the stroller by the time we were in the airport already. So after we finished the immigration part, he was already settled down, and then he was sleeping by the time we walked to the gate. So when we got onto the flight, although he woke up, but he wasn't up for a long time. We gave him a bottle of water and after milk, and then he fell back to sleep very quickly, and he slept for the whole, I think, 12 hours, which was very good. The only thing that happened was that we had to, because of the fact that we sat in the front, I think the first row. I remember it was the first row of the whole entire EC economy area. So we had the leg room, which is very important because or else you couldn't move around. That's one thing. And the thing is we can actually switch from one person to another. I can just hand over Karson over to Kelvin, and Kelvin would be able to carry him for that part of the time, because back then we didn't actually have a lot of stuff to support children or to sleep during the flight. But nowadays I know that there are a lot of different tools and different things that people can purchase to assist them to sleep, like a cushion or like a seat that can make them feel more comfortable on flight. So, but back then we didn't have all that. So when we first traveled, it was just like we had to hold on to him. That's the only thing. And another thing that we learned is that takeoff and landing, during takeoff and landing, we need to ensure that he's chewing or sucking on something. That's very important because of the air pressure. So babies generally cry, or toddlers generally cry because of the air pressure in their ears, so they don't feel comfortable. So during that time, it's best to wake them up and allow them to actually be sucking on their own bottle, or even on a pacifier would help as well. For kids, nowadays we bring along candy, so we would wake him up before takeoff and before landing, and we would give him a candy to chew on, so that when the air pressure doesn't affect them as much and they don't feel as uncomfortable.
And how did friends and family react when you told them you were going to start world schooling?
To be quite frank, we've met a lot of difficulty, but it's not practical difficulty. It's more like pressure from family and friends during the first year or so, when we weren't traveling quite as frequent, when we were traveling size 3 every 3 months or so. And they were still quite used to this mentality that we're not supposed to go on so much travel, and especially not with a kid, especially not to an unfamiliar place. You better stay in a resort, you better not go anywhere, that sort of mentality. And the child must have enough sleep, must have enough to eat, He must spend more time at home so he doesn't get sick. There's just a lot of this sort of pressure coming from our family and friends until we were I've got to say we've been quite determined to overcome these challenges. We've been ignoring a lot of people's advice. We've just been going along with monthly travel, and ever since then we've been bringing back lots of pictures, lots of videos to share. And not just that, but I think the most persuasive factor is Karson coming back and speaking to our family members and telling him, hey, did you know that there's this in Croatia? Did you know that this wild animal reacts like this? Did you know how the whale breaches?
In Hawaii?
Yes. Did you know that it was breaching right next to us, like 200 meters, and nearly crashed on a boat? There's just so much do you know questions that really told our family members that, hey, our son is learning something. It's not just about fun. It's not just, there's a lot of meaning to it. I think for me, the question that I've always come across is from my colleagues, from my friends and family, why on earth do you want to bring your son at such an early age to go on any sort of travel that's not, basically going to an all-inclusive resort and just chilling out? I think the short answer to that is it's not so much about the attractions and places and things that we see, but rather the time that we spend together as a family, that we're able to fully focus on each other and not have to worry about the chores. We're able to experience everything together and solely focus on experiencing everything together. That's really put us together as a family. It's really improved our relationship with each other, and that's one of the reasons why I constantly look forward to more family travel.
What would you say are the biggest benefits of Worldschooling?
Well, basically, it has made our bonds stronger, I would say, because through traveling, first of all, it's a common interest to start with. So we are very passionate about traveling, obviously. So a lot of times we share a lot on insights of how to travel, where to travel, what to do with our son, how to educate him, how to make him more worldly. These kind of questions always come into our mind. And obviously through the process, because we have so much to talk about, has made our bond so much stronger. And at the same time, because of traveling, we have got to know each other better. So for example, when we first started, I remember back in the days, Kelvin didn't really like water as much. Now he's more into water than I am. So I used to be all about water sports. I like kayaking, I like swimming. I didn't snorkel as much, but now we have taken the initiative to even go into taking diving lessons, and actually wanted to get our PETI license so that we can actually go scuba dive in more places in the world. So we share the same passion, and we try to build on it on many aspects.
I think for me, the short answer is there's just so much to look forward to seeing together as a family, taking pictures, developing these memories for sharing. There's just so much that we all look forward to, and especially when we see Karson learn about something and share about it, it just touches us in so many ways that we just want to keep this thing going on more than a month. I mean, probably more than like once a month.
How can we find you guys online?
At the moment, we're primarily using Instagram, so you can find us on Instagram
at Globetrotter
Kin. We have our own website, and we're trying to develop on that a little further by providing more insight, more on the itineraries and more on the experiences on the blogging part. But we're also trying to expand into YouTube. So we're going to be more serious in taking videos, and hopefully to let you guys have a better feel of what we experience. That's something that's not properly captured from photographs, something that we can share with you guys more. We're hoping to move into that as well.
What would you say to someone sitting at home watching this, considering Worldschooling?
I'd say just go for it. There's just, as I just said, every day feels really long, but when you look back, the years are really short. Up to present, I still wished and hoped that I had actually taken the leap earlier. So I feel that I'm already missing out because my son's already 6. But if you're watching and your children are still young, then just go for it, because when they're older, they won't want to bother with the stuff you may want them to do with you. Whereas if you start early, they may already have created the special bond with you to look forward to everything to be done together, to experience everything together, to focus on you more than other things. And that's just such a great feeling that I hope we can go on and on and on until they become adults.
It is something that you can do together, and it helps build a strong bond, not only between you and your partner, other half, but also with your family on the whole. It makes it so much more complete. We all only live once.
To find out more about Kelvin, Kimberly and their son Karson, visit their website Globetrotter Kin using the link below this video. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and click the bell icon to stay up to date when we release new videos. To find out more about Worldschooling, visit www.worldschoolingcentral.com.